Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. I don't really know how to say the following, so here's a screenshot. A few days ago this channel hit 1000 subscribers and I just want to say thank you to all the amazing people who supported this channel and who accompanied me on this whole Fakemon journey. This is literally crazy and I never thought so many people would enjoy my content. So yeah, it's still a weird thing to process. Anyways, that's not what you are here for. You want to see brand new Eeveelutions, a phantom for all the different evolutions of Eevee. I think Eeveelutions are probably the most famous trope to create Fakemon for. There are hundreds of Eeveelutions and I don't think it will stop anytime soon. The first evolution you will see is actually an evil evolution. I have created 3 of these before for a contest by LavaTyrants, where we could create evolutions for his basically original fake of Eevee, based on different demons. And I made a fire, electric and ghost type evolution. And I realized that I accidentally made counterparts to 2/3 of the original evolutions. So I decided to also make counterparts for the last one, the water type Vaporeon. The point of LavaTyrants evolutions are that their primary type is dragon and then they gain a secondary typing, depending on the evolution, which is based on a different demon. And I already had trouble finding demons for Germany for the first video, and I already went off the rails there. But the combination of dragon and water instantly put the image of the Hydra into my head, a monster from Greek and Roman mythology. And yeah, technically not a demon, I believe, but still a terrifying monster. And you may be wondering how this monster is connected to Germany. And, well, first of all, not all Fakemon of a region have to have real-life counterparts, but second of all, the Romans also were in Germany, even though you probably don't connect them with the country at first glance, but there's part of the Limes going through it, there are a bunch of Roman forts. Also, you've maybe heard of the Battle of the Teutoburger Forest. So, yeah, Roman, water, dragon, Hydra, evil evolution. The Hydra in the mythos grows new heads if one gets cut off, making it a pretty dangerous creature to fight. And at first I wanted to give this one 3 heads because I thought more than 3 heads would be too much, but then I realized that 3 are already too much. Instead I gave it a pattern on the shoulder looking like an abstract version of its head. On the other side there would be another one, and it has a special move where it can grow 2 energy heads that help it attack. For this counterpart I on purpose mirrored, or rather flipped, the design and colors of Vaporeon. It's kinda supposed like a weird, uncanny, distorted Vaporeon from another dimension. Like an evil lizard being trying to be Vaporeon but not quite hitting it and not understanding the design. Yeah. Not sure if it reads like that, but that's what I tried. Here it is, Hydreon, my water and dragon type evil evolution. Originally Hydreon was supposed to be the evolution representing the Fable area, but I'm retconning that Hydreon is now the one you can get in this area. So now to the actual evolutions. I wanted to make some sort of counterpart to the dragon ghost type evil evolution, and I couldn't decide whether the fitting type for that would be a pure ghost type or a pure normal type, so I made both. First off, the normal type one. I think the most well-known one is probably the one from the fan game Pokémon Insurgents, which is an amazing game by the way. Usually normal type evolutions are grown-up Eevees with more adult proportions and a more fluffy fur and so on. And I went that route too. By the way, if you were confused at the beginning of the time-lapse, at this point I was working on the ghost type evolution, but I switched my midway through and decided that this file would be the normal type evolution. I wanted to make the evolution look a bit more like a fennec with giant ears, which is fitting the whole cute, well, feline or canine theme of the original evolution. I also thought about giving it a second tail like the Nekomatsu to give the design an element that differentiates it from regular Eevee, so it doesn't just look like a grown-up Eevee. But I wasn't feeling it, it wasn't working and looked a bit too over the side, and I didn't know how to post the tails. In the end, I wanted this evolution to look more like a fierce and slightly grown-up version of Eevee while still being cute. It is notably smaller than regular Eeveelutions, but despite being just, in quotation marks, a normal type, it is still quite strong. For the eye color I used the purple of Hydreon's design because, like I said, it's kinda the counterpart to that thing. Anyways, mini story time. Most of the time at the beginning of a Pokemon game, the professor tells you about the Pokemon world and shows you one of their Pokemon. Most of the time, I believe it's an early rodent. Rodent? And for the Jermanzburg region's professor, who is called Professor Ebenholz or Professor Ebony in English, it would be this Fakemon. I don't know, it just feels like a Pokemon professor would have, since Eevee has such a unique evolution method, so any scientist interested in Pokemon would probably try to get their hand on one. So here it is, Ordinareon, a pure normal type. I already said everything in the video about this Fakemon, so I just wanted to mention that we nearly created 200 Fakemon for the Jermanzburg region, which is crazy. I mean, okay, I already created over 200, but I haven't shown all of them to you yet. It's kinda crazy how the time flew by. Next up, the pure Ghost type Eeveelution. Ghost is one of my favorite types, and I absolutely adore the Ghost type evolutions of the Fakemon community. Most of the time, Ghost type evolutions either are spirits, leaking ghostly energy, or at least have some sort of ghostly energy vibe to it. Sometimes also mummy or skeleton elements. And since my Dragon Ghost type already has the whole ghostly energy theme down, I wanted to create the opposite, the lack of energy. Well, that was my second attempt. At first, I just wanted to make a transparent Eevee with a flowy mane, which you saw in the previous time-lapse, but I changed my mind and wanted to make the best friend for an edgy teenager a skeleton dog/cat. Don't worry, that's totally original. I've never done an edgy skeleton Fakemon ever before. Totally unique idea here. As you can see at the beginning, I had trouble with the mane surrounding its neck. I wanted to make it look like bones that grew around it, but also a coat or hands like holding its neck. And then it would turn into this flowy ghostly mane, which I didn't know how to properly shape, so it looked very weird through a lot of the time. Then I got the idea to also give it a second tail, which was supposed to mimic the one on the normal type Evo. However, since I removed it there, I also removed it on this evolution, because it wouldn't make a lot of sense. I switched it for a stubby pointy tail, and I decided to just go for typical bone markings as the main feature at one point to make it look like a ghost type. I didn't have any other ideas. Its body shape is a bit more bulky than the other evolutions, but I thought that's an ironic contrast to the fact that it has skeleton patterns, and you know, skeletons are usually very thin because there's no muscles and flesh and stuff like that around it. While I gave Ordinareon purple eyes, I gave this one contrasting green eyes, which I took from Hydreon's design. And the rest of the color scheme is made out of dark and light grays. I don't know, it just works. I'm pretty happy with this design. Well, it has skeleton elements, so that was expectable, but I'm glad I went this more safe route, since I really disliked my first attempts, and I also didn't have a clear idea what I even wanted it to look like, so all things considering, pretty happy. The first few attempts didn't look like ghost types, but also not like any other typing, to be honest. Maybe psychic, but also not really. Just random thrown together elements that didn't make sense. So yeah, here it is, Anomaleon, a pure ghost type. Its shiny has the same color scheme of Ordinareon. I always like to switch color schemes in these duo Fakemon categories. I don't know, I just think it's neat. Oh, I think I forgot to explain the names well. Anomaleon, Anomaly plus Eon, and Ordinareon, Ordinary plus Eon. Pretty obvious stuff, but I think they are a bit too long for evolutions, but I think they sound cool and describe the Fakemon pretty well, so I will stick with it. So here's the complete batch of evolutions and Eeveelutions. Please let me know which one of these is your favorite, and if you would put any of these in your team. I personally go with Anomaleon. Yeah, obvious, I know. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you did, subscribe to not miss any future Jermanzburg videos and new projects, and see you in the comments.